Like many Americans, you're probably wondering how to get rid of those extra pounds once and for all. There are so many options out there, but there are two new ones out there that are making waves in 2017. First up, how many have ever considered weight loss surgery but weren't sure whether or not they were going to go or wanted to go under the knife? Well, there's a new procedure out there. They call it Obalon. They have a new solution, and it is what they're calling gastric bypass in a pill. Before we get ahead of ourselves, what you do is you swallow a pill. Once that pill is ingested, that capsule releases a gastric balloon in the stomach. Then over the course of 3 months, 3 balloons in total are placed in your stomach. They obviously take up space in your stomach, making you feel fuller. After 6 months, the docs remove them. So it's a lot of people are saying this is fab. Others are saying this is just a fad.
That looks like too much fun. Well, let's go to Dr. Christie, who trained in bariatric surgery.
I did train in bariatrics, and I think this is brilliant. Actually, the main operation used right now is a balloon. It's a single balloon. You put it down through a scope so people are sedated, and then you inflate it with 750 cc's. That's the quantity of a wine bottle. Okay, so now these 3 are each 250 of air. So it's that much space being constantly taken up in your stomach. So you're feeling full all the time. You eat less, you lose weight. On average, in 6 months with these 3 little air balloons, people lost 14.4 pounds, and they kept it off for the following 6 months, 89% of the time, following a moderate diet exercise routine. That's, part of it. So I love it. It's a jump starter. You want to lose those first 15 pounds.
You really do like it?
I think it's really safe. Okay, so one thing I don't understand is with the other balloon I'm talking about that I have experience with, they inflate it, and the saline also has a little bit of blue dye in it. So if your poop is suddenly iridescent blue and glowing, you have a hint that it's time to go to the doctor and have your...
That would be a hint.
Yeah.
Well, let me ask you this, because I think as far as this versus the traditional balloon, this seems to make a lot more sense. But having said that, the concern I have when something gains FDA approval, it doesn't necessarily mean it works super effective over the long term. It just means it's safe. And the two things that raise red flags for me is the fact that you have to go on acid suppressors throughout this, and then I would love to see data 5 years out. Six months out, and so look, at the end of the day, I think it's a great new tool in the arsenal. But the big thing here is it doesn't matter what happens in those 6 months. What really matters is what happens 2, 3, 4 years down the road. If you can use this as a jump start and then make those changes, it's great. Otherwise,
yo-yo.
It's just not gonna help.
This is ideal for body mass index 30 to 40. So if you don't know what a BMI is, Google it and plug in the numbers and find out. If you're over 30, you're too fat. And if you're over 40, you're morbidly obese and really high risk for early mortality from heart attacks, diabetes, on and on. So this is the 30 to 40 range. So a true gastric bypass, the one that's very lasting and works well, actually takes your stomach and makes it into a tube. Like it's just like more of your esophagus. The rest of your stomach becomes sitting there doing nothing. You get this tube, you bypass a bunch of the small intestine, cut it there, and bring it up to be just a really long tube. That is really effective, but there's a lot of problems with that. Chronic diarrhea, malnutrition, you don't absorb the right amount of nutrients.
And it's become such an individual, weight loss is such an individual experience.
For all, but all the experts that have been on talking about bariatric control, yourself included, all emphasize that behavior modification and what you do in conjunction with the procedure it's not going to work.
And we wish, it'd be great someday if I'm able to come up on the stage and say, here's a magic pill. You take this one today, and no, not yet. But if you come up with that one, I'll tell you right now, you'll change the world and you'll make a lot of money in the process.
That quick fix. I mean, it almost sounds too good to be true. I think there's potential there. It is new though.
Well, Travis is right. People will just yo-yo back if they don't behave differently.